Hi, I'm Dr. Jeanne Stryker. I'm here today to talk to you about medical thermal imaging. I'm a board-certified radiologist, and I have advanced training with a fellowship in women's imaging, anti-aging, and regenerative medicine. From a medical doctor's perspective, I believe that you should know the ultimate truth about imaging. And I'm here to talk to you about that today because, as some of you may or may not know, prior to 1992, before the Mammography Quality Standards Act came into being, mammography, that is mammography, was read by other MDs besides radiologists. And what we found, there were poor quality facilities out there using mammography machines that were not up to standard. They did not have the physics and the quality control optical standards. So a lot of women were misdiagnosed. Breast cancers were missed. So through different governmental programs, what we call the MQSA came into being in 1992. Well, with thermography, unfortunately, we still don't have that standardization in the industry. So my job as a board-certified radiologist is to bring that standardization into the industry. So some of the questions I want to pose to you as clients or patients out there are a couple questions. Number one, you need to ask facilities who do thermography, medical thermal imaging, you'll hear, or digital infrared thermal imaging. Those are all synonymous terms. You need to ask them, is the camera at their facility FDA registered? Because there's only a few cameras out there in the industry that are FDA registered. And the specifications are very clear. You want to have a camera, as we call in our medical terms, 320 by 240 pixel resolution. So what does that mean? That means that those little tiny pixels that we acquire, little tiny squares, that they're small enough to be able to differentiate one object from another before they become fused. So you want to have a camera that's FDA registered, has 320 by 240 resolution, that what we call the NETD is very sensitive. The second question that you want to ask the facility is, who is reading their studies? You want a qualified physician, MD, reading your images, especially in the integrative field. I know there's been studies performed out there testing medical thermography with mammography, ultrasound, and even MRI. However, you want to work with an integrative doctor because here's the difference. I want to educate the public. Mammography is not the same as thermography. Thermography is the study of physiology. You're looking at infrared radiation. Every living object emits radiation. And you can't see infrared heat. It's only through a specialized FDA-registered camera with the sensitivity and spatial resolution that I talked about that you're able to acquire those images, convert those images on a computer software to provide you with information. And that information is looking at vascular patterns and temperature differential. We know that anytime you have increased metabolic activity in the body, there is going to be a higher temperature. Those electrons that are moving around in the cell are moving faster, and they are emitting heat. So anytime you see more heat emitted or a hot spot, that's something to be concerned with. Now, if you sprained a part of your body or overworked your body, then you're going to see those red spots. But I'm talking in particular with breast imaging. Whenever we see hot spots, vascular patterns with a standardized temperature differential, there's concern, but remember, you don't image one cancer cell. It takes many cancer cells in order to see that activity. The great news is with medical thermography imaging, you're going to pick up that metabolic activity years before you would see that on anatomic imaging, such as mammography, ultrasound, or MRI. It takes approximately 1 billion cancer cells to be detected on a mammogram or an ultrasound, and that's about a 1 centimeter tumor. So can you imagine if you were able to see metabolic activity, increase in temperature in a particular area in your breast? You have time to assist your body in doing what it was intended to do, and that is with the immune system. It's really simple. Is it foreign or is it self? So, immune system goes out there as an army and searches and destroys for anything that doesn't belong to self and kills it. Now, with the high stress lives that we endure today, immune systems can be compromised and they can become suppressed. Genes can be turned off that are supposed to be turned on. We actually have cancer genes that are good for us. Those are what we call tumor suppressing genes. That means that they suppress and even turn off these cancer cells, where you have the one gene called the suicide gene that's great. It will go out and cause demise. But sometimes these genes get turned on and these cancer cells can grow out of control. So there's one part of the picture, or what I say is part of the big scheme of things, or part of the puzzle, is the immune system. And then you have detoxification genes. We look at systems such as the liver, the colon, the kidneys. Liver is the system that metabolizes toxins, drugs, hormones, and neurotransmitters. The liver has a huge job, and it really relies on these detoxification genes to do their job. So there's another piece of the puzzle that an integrative medical doctor will work with you.